The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming today. My name is Pete Baker with the Big Corp, and I am joined by Dan Cheris with RusSound. And as you may know, I'm the international sales manager, business manager for RusSound, and Dan is the trainer for RusSound. So I really appreciate you joining us today. We've got a really great presentation prepared for you, just kind of covering some of the great new features and updates with the MyRussound app and the MBX platform. And I know that, first of all, I hope that each of you are safe and healthy and doing well during this just incredibly strange time in our world history. And I appreciate you investing some time for education about RusSound. I think it's a good time for each of us to work on our business. We get so busy working in our business that it's hard sometimes to fit in training and education. So greatly appreciate you investing the time with us today. I also know, having been in the industry for over 30 years, spending the first 20 years as an integrator, that there's a lot of options out there for streaming platforms and amplifiers. And I think that we're constantly under pressure to have just separate systems that are direct-to-consumer type products. And RusSound has some great benefits to you and your customers by offering a professional-grade streaming solution. And through the MBX platform from RusSound, we also protect you and your profit margins with no internet sales through the RusSound RCI, RusSound Certified Installer Program. Also with the MBX platform, we offer high-res audio, 24-bit, 192 kilohertz. And having been involved in many different streaming platforms over the years, I was not really a believer of high-res audio until I heard the difference. And I had certainly hundreds or thousands of consumers over the years that would say, I'm not an audiophile and I can't tell the difference with standard definition or high res or good or bad speakers. And I'm here to tell you that even with my old ears, I can definitely hear a difference. So it doesn't cost anything extra to offer high res audio. And with the RusSound platform, you certainly can deliver that. We also have a lot of great benefits as well. We don't require a control processor. We have great integration with third-party control systems. If you do decide that you want to integrate with a third-party platform, then we have great integration with those control platforms. And of course, there's no programming that's necessary with the RusSound platform. You really just plug it in, unlock it using your RusSound RCI credentials, and you're off and running. So also a lot of other great features, as Dan will probably go through, with 12-volt triggered outputs and digital and analog IOs. We also have some front panel controls and IR learning built into the MBX platform. So if you're putting this into a master bedroom or an exercise room and your client wants to just use the TV remote to control that RusSound system, they certainly can do that. So lots of great benefits that we have to offer with the RusSound platform and the MBX platform. And so I appreciate you spending the time with us today. And I'm going to pass everything over to Dan, and he's going to go through all the great new updates and features that we've added just recently. So thanks again. Stay safe and enjoy the webinar.
Hello and welcome to RusSound. Thank you, Peter, for that. I want to thank everyone out there for joining us today. We got a full house today. Thank you very much for that. We're going to talk about the MyRussound app and the MBX today. We've completely revamped the MyRussound app. Everything is available now, and all of the updates that need to be done is what we're going to talk about today to get you to the latest and the greatest from RusSound, to take your already awesome system and bring it up to a whole new level. We've got some new music services. We got some new features to talk about today. So if you have any questions, either email them to Pete Baker or to RusSound Tech Support. If you could, just go ahead and type them in the chat box, and those will all be answered in real time. As soon as Ben is back in the saddle here, he's busy with a customer right at the moment, and but he'll be jumping in here soon to answer questions. So just go ahead and put those in the chat box, and I'll leave this open for a little bit after the webinar so you can continue with your questions, and then we'll get to those today for sure. And if we don't get to them during the webinar, we'll get to them right afterwards and get those answers out to you, and that way we can compile all of the questions so we can add them to the Q&A on the website. So we'd really appreciate if you just go ahead and any question you get, just type it right in the chat box. Once again, I want to thank Pete Baker from the Big Corp, for bringing on this webinar today. This was a request from Pete that we run this thing for all you folks out there today. And once again, full house. Thank you. So with that, let's have a look at what we've done with MBX. Welcome to RusSound. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the basics of what we're going to go through today. This is really what this is all about in a nutshell. There's some very important things going on. Everybody's system is fine the way it is. You know, none of these are absolutely necessary. They're not mandatory unless you want to be able to include the very cool features like cover art for favorites and Napster streaming and a few other things we're going to talk about today. So if you want to bring your system up to the wow, here's how we're going to do it. First of all, you know, a little while ago we released 10.0205 for the MyRussound app. And that once people did that update, it was not a whole, you know, it's like, what's the difference? I don't see anything, but it was to prepare for this release that we're talking about today. The release of the new MBX firmware. And you had to do the 10.2.05 in order to be able to prepare your system for this. And once you do that update, then the latest one, 1.04.09, is going to allow you to see a visible difference because all the new features will take effect when that MBX firmware is updated to that version. Also, it includes some minor bug fixes, and it changed the way that our devices are discovered in Android devices. There's a much better pathway to that as well. And the supported products that we're going to talk about here for these updates, where the support is on the MyRussound app for iOS, the MyRussound app for Android, XTS touchscreen, and XTS Plus touchscreen. I want to take a minute right now to hit on the XTS and XTS Plus. This is something, it's the updates for the touchscreens themselves for the XTS. There are two different options for updating those. Option one can be done right from the front of the XTS keypad touchscreen. It's just a series of clicks and touches that are going to get you all the way through it. There's quite a few steps involved. I highly recommend RCIs do this. But, you know, with the way things are going, we know you can't get into the customer's house right now. So what we want to tell you first about the XTS Plus is that this is not a mandatory update. This can wait until you can get back out in the field and get these systems updated, and then you can test them all, make sure it's all done. Those of you that think you got wicked smart customers can go in there and take option one and walk your customer through it on the phone if you want to do it. But for the older XTS, prior to version 8, that will require a truck roll because the XTS will need to be pulled from the wall in order to do the update. You got to connect a cable physically from your laptop to the touchscreen in order to update the older XTS pre 8 version. So option 1, option 2. Option 1 is available on the website, and it's all you got to do is go to XTS on the website, and it'll give you a complete walkthrough of the various screens that you need to work with to get this done. There's 8 steps, I believe, in there. And then for the older XTS, then that's going to take a truck roll, so that can wait. And we'll cover that a little bit more detail later on. So, but the key features that are going to be supported through these updates: background support for Napster. Yes, now Napster streaming service is supported through RusSound, and welcome to the party, Napster. It's another great addition to the already great lineup we already have, which I'm going to show you. Also adds support for app favorites as well. So you can do app favorites as well as room favorites, and which is really cool because app favorites live right on your phone. So when you do that, you can take your favorites to every room in the house and stream them to any MBX in the system. And then when you do a home favorite, that actually lives in the MBX in that room. So it's called a room favorite. And also adds album art support for favorites. That's a very cool feature. Visually, it just is incredible. That favorites list in the app was just the call letters and station ID and all that kind of stuff. Now it's album art instead. You don't even have to read it; just look at the pictures. And also updating the discovery process for Android, and also some bug fixes. So this is the stuff we're going to cover today, and we're just going to get into it a little bit and let you know what the business is here with it. This is an optional update, okay? I got to make sure you understand that. Everything will roll as is until you start doing these updates to the MBX and the XTS, providing you have the 10.2.5 already loaded on as the latest app. But in order to use these updates, again, you got to have that 10.0.5 or higher. Okay. Also, the latest version of your MCA software has to be loaded as well. 04.02.05. That needs to be done. So you got to update your latest version of the MyRussound app. You got to update your MCA firmware and your MBX as well. The MBX 01.04.09 for each device in the system, each MBX in the system, and that will deliver the new features to your MBX. And but it's not, again, if you don't care about some of these things, let it roll until you can get back out in the field. So, but what you got right here is all you're going to do is go into web config and select web update, okay, to get all these done. The amp, they have the same firmware update, and then all you got to do is select, as I mentioned, web update from web config, and that will go in and allow you to be able to go in and get that process rolling. There's your 2 controllers and the same firmware for those guys. And then XTS Plus, see our guide at russound.com, XTS updates, okay? And that will allow you to be able to go in and do that manually right from the front of the interface itself. And then the 88X and the XTS. The XTS, the older versions that we have instructions for option 2. Option 2, you need to get through tech support, okay? because that requires a truck roll and pulling the XTS from the wall and physically connecting it in order to get the job done on the older product. Okay, so that's really all there is to it there with those updates. So the products that are going to be supported through this update are the MBX amp and the MBX pre, MCA 66, 88, and 88X, and the XTS and XTS Plus. Now the 88X is on here because that's in case there are a lot of systems out there where the RCI added the MBX pre to the system and bypassed that older X source on board. So if you have a pre connected as a source to an 88X, you got to treat it just like an 88, okay? And that's going to be the key right there with 88X. That's only if you have an MBX pre connected as a source. Simple stuff. But it's all about convenience. That's what it is. You know, that's why at this time we're proud to release new features to try to make this stay-at-home thing we're all going through a little bit more enjoyable. I mean, I was on the road for 15 years. You road dogs out there, I don't know how you're doing it. You must be bouncing off the walls. Asking a road dog to stay home, boy, you're taking away all the tools of the business that way. But I mean, down here, even the Florida Keys are closed. I never thought I'd see that day. We live in the middle of the best fishing in the world. You can't go fishing. This is crazy. So where we all got to stay at home, it's a good time to do this kind of stuff, right? We can already tell the at-home training is going through a roof. So, but also a new music service, you know, we're going to add that. That can be added as well with this new update for your MBX. The newest addition to the RusSound streaming assortment, Napster. And it's available right now, providing you got your latest version on your app. You can go ahead and start doing these updates anytime. And we've also done a key overhaul to the app favorites. We've done some really cool stuff there. So let's have a closer look at that stuff. Because favorites, they've been the easiest, fastest way for customers to access music, you know, since favorites became available for the first time. I mean, there's so many services out there that it drive you nuts, just trying to weed your way through. So when you find something you like, put it into favorites and save yourself the searching all the time. You can go right to your favorite sports, your favorite blues, your favorite kick-ass rock, whatever you want to do. Even better, the album art navigation allows you to store favorites on your phone or your tablet. So now your favorites are with you, can go anywhere, room to room, everywhere. And then you have room favorites that live right in the room, okay? But those app favorites can be played back on any MBX device in the system. Anything on the same network. So what we've really done here is we've added that streaming service for Napster. It's now built in. Album art for favorites. App favorites. Some key new features. New Napster functionality is available. It's support for Napster. You still got to, just like SiriusXM and all the others, you got to go in there and get your subscription for it. But we now have support for it. And it's available immediately for new installations. So if you want to take your system and bring it to the next level, I would recommend you get in there and get this stuff done. Those of you that want to do it on site, it can wait until you go to the job site. But Napster now joins Tidal, Deezer, SiriusXM, SiriusXM for Business, Internet Radio, TuneIn, VTuner, Arable, Spotify Connect, Chromecast, just limitless contact through Chromecast. Also AirPlay, you have everything on your device. You can AirPlay right to any MBX player, and even Bluetooth as well, so you can take anything on your handheld device and use Bluetooth and hear it on these systems. So between our free services, the things that are available through Chromecast, and AirPlay and Bluetooth, the content is limitless. It is unbelievable. This is what we look like right now for free services: AirPlay, Bluetooth, the DLNA, the USB. I like that because, some of us old dogs, we have things like NAS drives laying around that have been ripping tunes on for years, thousands of tunes. And we have iTunes with some really cool internet radio and stuff that can all be played back through DLNA. Any DLNA content can be played back through that USB port on the back of our MBX devices, and also flash drive audio and things like that as well. Spotify Connect, VTuner, TuneIn, Arable, those all are native right out of the box. And these as well, when you set up your MBXs, we recommend using Chromecast built-in. When you use Chromecast built-in, you now become a part of the Chromecast ecosystem, which consists of many, many different brands out there. All your favorite brands you know and love, all part of the Chromecast ecosystem. So now you can have in your system, you can have some of it, RusSound, some of it Sony, some whatever. And they're all going to talk to each other really nice through the Chromecast ecosystem. Back at CEDIA, we demonstrated in our booth. We had sound bars and all kinds of things from all different manufacturers, tabletop radios and stuff. And we had them all connected together with RusSound as well. And they all played perfectly synced audio. It was perfectly synced across the board. So with Chromecast built in, you also add Google Play Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Rhapsody, NPR One, Slacker, Quello, SoundCloud. I mean, and it goes on and on. And then, if that's not enough, you can also subscribe to SiriusXM for Business, SiriusXM, Pandora, Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, YouTube Music, Napster. We offer support on board for all of these music services. Oops, excuse me. So, too much coffee. As you can see, it continues to grow, and there's more than meets the eye, because within here you can also go to other places as well. As I mentioned, you can even add iTunes to this as well, streaming audio. And they have some great blues and sports and stuff as well. So, but as I mentioned, we can play to any MBX product in the home. Take your favorites with you wherever you go. Just launch the app, select the favorite you want, and go ahead. It differs from room favorites, which are stored on the device. You're going to hear me say this quite a few times today, because there's a little confusion: app favorites, room favorites. But we get a lot of questions. Our Q&A is loaded with questions about this kind of stuff. So just remember, room favorites are stationary. All right. App favorites are portable. That's all. 3 helpful things to know. You're able to copy your favorites from one room to another in seconds using this app, rather than doing it manually, individually on each device. You can copy your favorites from one room to another very easily. So now RCIs have a very easy way to demo the system after an install, and you can even push favorites to any room during this demo. So, and then app-based favorites, which are up there, as you can see, individual and by the user's device. So you can have room favorites, you can have your app favorites, Room favorites are great because, say, it allows you to set a theme with the different rooms. For example, if you in the dining room, you might, for room favorites, you might have easy listening, soft rock, classical, that kind of stuff, dinner music. And then you go to the man cave or the she cave, and you get favorites in that room: sports, blues, rock and roll, things like that. So you can set up each room that the favorites are going to match the activities of that room. So it allows each person in the home to have their own favorites in any room. And the way to go about this, to choose, you got to just choose number one right there, to store a favorite as a portable app favorite that can be played on any device. And you choose that right there to store a room favorite. So that's all you need to do is just tap that and add that to the favorites, whatever you listen to on the MBX or MCA that can only be played back in that room. And that button right there will get you to your app-based favorites in the MyRussound app. Here is where you're going to do store room favorites versus home favorites. Now, room favorites are on the MBX device, as you remember. Home favorites actually live on your controller. So if you have an MCA there, you can have also favorites in there as well. And this is what the favorites used to look like without cover art, remember? That's probably what most of you are looking at right now. But, you just got to read through that whole thing just to figure out what's going on here. But now, look what you see. Instead of all this text, Adele, Stones, Deezer. I mean, visually, it's much faster, much more convenient, much better for old dogs like me with the eyes we get. Now, keep in mind, album art favorites will only work on new favorites. Okay? Doesn't mean all your old favorites are no good anymore. All it means is that they'll only show the cover art when you add a new favorite. But we can fix all those ones that are already in there, because they're not going to just automatically display album art. They're already stored in there. So, quick way to update all existing favorites in order to give them album art, just select the favorite again and hit the store button to store it as a new favorite. And you go down through your whole list of old favorites and store them again as a new favorite, and then just delete the old list. You just repeat this process for every favorite. And then you delete your old favorites, keep the new updated version with album art. That's all you need to do. Quick and easy, and you only need to do it once, because then you can do it right from the device to device. And you also have to understand that Napster album art favorites and app favorites are only available for MBX, okay? Only for the MBX series, not for legacy stuff. We're not going to be talking about X-Source, X-Zone 4, X-Zone 70B, the internal streamers, 88X, all that stuff. No. This is something that is only for new. The older products, X-Source, and like the X-Source and the 88X, there's just no pathway to do these improvements and have them apply on the older series. So as time goes by, as you know, with streaming, it's going like lightning, out with the old, in with the new, right? So it's time to update. And then if you're using a pre with 88X, the 88X requires that firmware update in order to work with the album art favorites as well. Remember, you got to not only do the app and the MBX, but you also have to do the controller. And the 88X, as I mentioned, is only if you're using the pre. Now, for to take advantage of these updates, for your mobile devices, you got to make sure, again, that your app is the latest version, 10.02.05. And then most phones will automatically update to the new version of the MyRussound app, but you can also manually confirm this. We're going to pause here for a second. I need to talk about the automatic update situation. We are going to delay pushing these as automatic updates because of what's going on out there. And we know that it's hard to roll a truck if you need to, even right now. With the stay at home and everything, you got to figure we have these updates apply to 7 different models. And across the board, 7 different models, thousands of them all over the world. We're not just going to push automatic updates out there when you don't have RCIs available should a glitch occur somewhere. I mean, we don't expect any, but where this is not a mandatory update, unless you want these awesome new features. You can still do the manual process, as I mentioned. They're very easy to do. All you RCIs out there know what you're doing. So we're going to delay pushing automatic updates out for a little bit here. Now, the XTS Plus, do you even need to update it? Do you need to? You know, I know I keep saying that, but the thing is if it was me, yeah, I want album art on my favorites. I want support for Napster. Napster is awesome. I want these great new features, the great new screens. I like to have the latest on my system, have it updated right to the latest. And if you do that, you continue to keep your updates up to date. It makes further firmware updates much easier to do. So keeping your system up to date is very important. But the only reason we stress this, that it's not mandatory, is because in this time of not being able to move around freely and do business as we normally would. So while everybody's staying at home, let's put everything on hold and let them just enjoy their music. And so if you have version 10.01.06 or 0.14, update to XTS Plus is optional. It's just completely optional. The only added functionality that you'll see on the XTS is aesthetic improvements for the new Napster streaming audio service and the addition of album art-based favorites for navigation purposes. And that's if they want to have their XTS or XTS Plus screen match the screen on their iPhone or their iPad or Android that's already been updated to the new. So I would say, yeah, I mean, you can 90% of them in the field, you're going to be able to do them right from the front panel. So you can even get your customer on the phone, walk them through it. Everybody knows what they're doing. I take that back. Not everybody. Excuse me. So it's only recommended for album art based favorite functionality. So again, to match the app on their phones and tablets. With the older ones, 8 or lower or earlier, excuse me. Only if you use an MBX, you need to update that one. A lot of those older ones don't have MBX in the system. They have Xsource or whatever. Those will need to be pulled from the wall and manually connected to perform this update. But you can do these anytime when you're on the job site. It's not a long process. You get it up and done. And the reason we recommend you wait a little bit with your customers, with the older ones, is you got to get in there and do it. So, and plus while you're there, after you do it, you can test the whole system. So perform that update when you're on the job. You won't need it much before then. And the reason we're labeling this update process as optional, is the only reason we're labeling it this way, is so that each installer can best determine when to do this. We're going to leave it up to you. We're not going to tell you, hey, you got to get out there in the field. So this lies in your hands out there, all of you. Well over 100 of you out there today. It's all it's all in your hands as to when this gets done. So during a normally scheduled installation is the best time. No need for a special trip. Okay. Because let's lay this out for you. In abundance of caution, we're delaying the rollout of automatic firmware updates that we released last week. They're all available manually. And they'll even alert installers, the RCIs out there, the new version is available. When you look at the web config page on those, very, very concerned about doing a massive firmware update. Again, 7 different devices, 7 different models, times the thousands all over the world. It's not a good time to do that. We think most dealers, installers would have a difficult time making the service call to anyone's home. We don't expect any issues at all. But we will definitely delay the automatic process until a time when it's easier for your RCIs to get out there and take care of any issues, should any arise. So if you decide to go for it, RCIs, you have 2 separate options for updating these touchscreens. Option 1, the instructions appear on our website and can be done from the home without pulling the unit from the wall. Option 2 are only for RCIs and can be obtained from tech support because it requires a truck roll and removing the unit from the wall. So go for it, you guys. I would. Because this is what you're going to get, as well. Check this out. New looking splash page, the now playing page, source list, very nice, easy layout. The now playing screen, you can do a lot of stuff from the now playing screen, but because you have everything available to you right here, you can go to your favorites easily right there. Boom, you can do that. You can just go in and browse if you want to. Volume, play, pause, all that stuff. Everything is all right here on the, shows you the playlist name as well as what's playing. So pretty cool. And then this is the credentials page where you're going to go in and add your credentials. Keep it nice and clean. As you can see, very clean look. Grouping, you can just take whatever music, group it up to 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, whatever you want to do. You can go in and edit those groups if you want to, add a room, remove a room, all that stuff very, very easily. And of course, the landscape version for your tablet. Now, the now playing screen as well. Everything is listed right here, beautifully laid out. Everything is very easy to see, easy to navigate. Because once again, to the customer, the interface is the system. If they don't like the interface, they're not going to like the system. They don't care about all of those wires and black boxes and all. They're not going to go start pounding on the front of an MCA88, It's that interface. To the customer, the interface is the system. So, in the tradition of RusSound, going back all the way to the days of Uno keypads and, being before that, if you remember that, with CAV, some of you that have been around, even with our keypads way back in the day, 20 years ago, they were designed for the end user. Simple, easy operation. No brainers, no banging your head to figure out what you're doing in there. It's keeping it simple and keeping it clean and keeping it absolutely intuitive for the end user. And so in that RusSound tradition, we've continued that with this new app. And there isn't one out there easier to use. You can get training from RusSound from our dealer training site anytime. Anytime. We have a recorded MP4 library. All of the webinars that we've done, I got about 50 of them, I think, in there right now. This one will go in probably Friday or sometime next week. This one will be posted. Also, you can find some short how-to video clips. We're putting some of those together right now on these subjects we were just talking about. And you'll be able to go in and see a short, anywhere from 4-minute to 8-minute type video clip that will instruct you on how to do the various functions and features in our RusSound products and the benefits and things like that. So full dealer training library of MP4s, full library of video clips that is growing all the time. And those are available to you 24/7. And so at your convenience, you want to check out any product, you just go right ahead and hop right in. This is who we are. This is how to find us. We don't want to hide anyway. Take a print screen of this one, put it in your RusSound folder in case you ever need to get a hold of us. I want to thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. Most of all, thank you for your business. Here at RusSound, we really appreciate it. We know you have a lot of choices, but RusSound, the reason you choose RusSound, and the reason that all of our RCI dealers out there choose RusSound is because not only because of top performance, professional grade products, but profit margin. Try to make money on some of the other stuff out there, see what happens. RusSound, your guaranteed margins 40% higher. That's why we all do this, right? To make money. RusSound, professional grade solutions. Thank you for your business. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Dan, and thank you all for joining us today. We did have quite a few questions come into the chat window, and I think I've answered most of them. We did have one about, can I force the app to upgrade to 10.04 or just wait till the auto update? And the app stores do have the latest and greatest, so you can update it through the app store anytime.
Anytime, yep. The XTS, as I mentioned, that's something that requires, I would recommend RCIs do that one. That one is not completely necessary because they don't carry that around in their pocket. They're not looking at that one that much. And so updating their, first of all, make sure you get the latest version of the MyRussound app. Make sure you got that latest version on your MCA controller, and then the latest update on the MBX. And boom, you're in the game. You're good to go.
Exactly.
And they're all available right now. But, again, I think people would agree, pushing automatic updates out there right now might create some headaches. So.
Yeah, we also had quite a few questions about third-party integration, and RusSound does have great third-party integration.
Yes.
And most of that information is posted in the dealer portal, correct, Dan?
Yeah, well, also, Pete, what I'm going to do is I'm going in right after we close the webinar. I'm going to go in and print all of the questions, and then I'll be on the horn with Ben Hardy over in tech support.
Okay.
And he'll just start pumping out answers to every single question individually to each person who asked.
Okay,
and
fantastic.
Yeah, well, we like to do it that way because a couple of things. We like to keep a case number on any individual, issues that arise with these questions. And we also like to keep our Q&A up to date. When you go in to the RusSound website, you're going to see in there a full Q&A, so some of the questions you might have are already answered in that Q&A on the website. So, but otherwise, as I mentioned, I'll be printing these off. I'm going to look them over. We have had unbelievable amount of questions and things for this, which is great because this gives us a chance to touch base with each one of you individually and talk about what concerns you.
All
And
right.
yeah,
Great.
so
So we are getting quite a few questions still coming in,
yep,
and
I'll leave it open. I'll leave it open until 1 o'clock. I mean,
okay,
until 11
sounds
o'clock.
great. So
11
we,
o'clock, 13 more minutes, and I'll close her down. But I want to thank everyone for joining us. I really do, and we really appreciate your business. Thank you very much for your business. You guys are doing an awesome job in the field. MBX sales are doing very good. Our customers are getting very educated by you guys, and I feel that all of our dealers, distributors in the field today are some of the best group that we've ever had. Uh, Technically, they're all very good, and they're all very good with the customers as well. So, and we see that reflected in tech support. So, any reps, distributors out there, Russound wants to thank you very much for all your hard work because it shows, and you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
yeah, thank you guys. Again, we will answer each one of those questions with you directly. So thanks for joining us today. Stay safe, and we greatly appreciate your business. So have a great day. And thank
Have
you,
a great
Dan.
day, everybody. Take care, Peter.
Cheers.
Be safe.